You made it at 16. You made it at 17. Similar length now at 18. Oh, yes. And Wyndham is the winner of the BMW Championship.
Jim Nantz on the call. I'm not saying Jim is in a class by himself in terms of greatest sportscasters in America, but let's put it this way, it wouldn't take long to call the roll. After he called that putt, we got together for a visit. First of all, I know you have such an affection for our city. What did you think of the way we supported golf this weekend?
It's almost beyond description. I tried my best to frame it with the right words, but the last thing I said going off the air was, well done, St. Louis. You don't see this everywhere. It just felt so big. They raised the event to a wonderful level, to a major championship feel and vibe, and it's just a credit. It's just such a great sports town. It's known universally as a great baseball town, but I got to tell you, the golf part of it as a golf town, it's huge. It's right up there with the best.
You told a great story at dinner the other night about your affection for the game of golf has really grown as you've watched your son, Jamison, 10 years old, embrace the game. Yeah. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, it's just, he's just got some talent that I never had, and I've been able to watch him grow and develop, and his passion for the sport, it's just so refreshing. I mean, he can do things at a very young age that I never had the ability to do. And I would say I'm enjoying the game more now as an observer of my son playing than any point where I was playing. And yeah, I'm living, in short, I'm living vicariously the game of golf through my boy. We call him J-Mo, and I'm really proud of him.
Let's stay with the father-son theme. And I think many people know Hello Friends, but for the people who don't know the story, it's a great one about you and your father.
Well, it really came about in 2002. I was at the PGA Championship in Minnesota at Hazeltine, and before I left my father's bedside, he was deep in the throes of a battle with Alzheimer's. But his mind was still able to sometimes retain a cogent thought, you know, and before I left him in Houston to go to that PGA, I said, Dad, I'm going to come on the air this weekend. I'm going to look into that lens, and when that tally light comes on, I'm going to say, hello, friends, and that's my message to you, that I'm thinking of you at that very time. He said, oh, that's great, son, that's wonderful. Now, the odds are that I probably, when I walked out of the room, he'd already forgotten. But I like to hold on to the thought that he remembered, and that Saturday we came on the air and I recited Hello Friends for the first time, and I've said it every show since. Because after I said it that day, a friend of mine from CBS said, I heard you say Hello Friends, what was that all about? I told him the backstory. He said, you ought to do that all the time. And I have ever since. Now, my dad's been gone, unfortunately, for a long time, since '08. But every time I come on the air, there's that excitement that we all have as broadcasters and trying to get the show started. When I look into the lens and I say hello, friends, it relaxes me. I think of him for that flicker of a second, and away we go. I think I've just loved being able to channel him, whether it's at a Super Bowl or a Masters tournament or right here at Belle Reve this weekend.
And when did you know this was going to be your profession?
Well, I hope since I was 11 years old, a little boy with a huge dream, a boyhood dream come true. I know there's a lot of folks that say that. It's 100% true that when I was 11 years old, I used to think about, oh, how if I could only work one day for CBS. They broadcast the Masters, they have the NFL. I love the way they present things, and fortunately for me, my blessings came true in my 26th year, shortly after, not that long after graduating college at Houston. And I had a chance to join the network, and now in this month I'm finishing my 41st year, about to start my 42nd year in September when the NFL season begins.
Are you still conscious of trying to improve? There's the story about Larry Bird in the prime of his career. Each summer he'd come back with something different. How are you trying to improve?
It's storytelling at the core of it all. To be able to say things succinctly, to make people think a little bit, and to shine a light on the subjects you're covering and the places you're visiting. It's not about anything that's trying to bring attention to me. I'm trying to shower attention on Belle Reve or St. Louis or Wyndham Clark or Patrick Cantlay or Gary Woodland. What a story that was today. And I have great people around me. I had a line after Clark birdies 16 and 17 and 18 that here in St. Louis people would understand it, but Wyndham's putting the first 3 days was so extraordinary, and it was at the end. I said when he putts like that, for St. Louis, it was the greatest show on turf, part 2. Here on the quarter-century anniversary of Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt, and Isaac Bruce. And I know it's probably lost on some of the golf audience, but maybe I told them a story and made them think a little bit. And those are the sweet spots when you can say something that is not predictable, and it's spun in a way of storytelling.
So you were a really good college golfer. You played with Fred Couples. My question is this. If you could have had Fred Couples' career, Hall of Famer, winning the Masters, or your career in broadcasting, which would you take?
That's a good question, Frank. I have to say, I'm thrilled for Freddie because this was what he wanted in his career. This was his dream, was to win the Masters. But my dream was not to win the Masters. My dream was to broadcast the Masters. And this year marked the 41st time that I got to call the Masters, which set the record for most years broadcasting it. So I wouldn't trade with anyone, any job. I'm just grateful. And that's really my mantra these days. I long for nothing. I've been able to do the job I've wanted all along. I long for nothing, and I'm grateful for everything.
Final thought. At the end of your last broadcast, maybe it's 10 years from now, what would you want somebody to say about Jim Nantz's career?
We told the story, and we enjoyed having him in our living room. He made it enjoyable to watch, and he made the events a little bit better. And that's about as close as I would want to anyone getting to make it about me. I want it to be about what I was doing to try to, again, shine a light on everything else. I hope, I've been in a lot of America's living rooms for a long, long time. I'm grateful that they've been so kind to me for so long. That's a really deep question, but for now, I would just like it to be that I told the story as well as anybody can tell it.